In The Young and the Restless, the week of April 27 to May 1 begins with tension building in every corner of Genoa City and Las Vegas. Nothing feels stable anymore, and every character seems to be standing on the edge of a major emotional explosion. This week opens with a mix of relief, hidden anger, dangerous secrets, and life-threatening situations that could change everything for the Newman and Abbott families. One of the first major developments revolves around Cain Ashby and Lily Winters. After some intense medical testing, Cain receives results confirming that he is actually a bone marrow match for Malcolm Winters. This news immediately shifts the emotional atmosphere. Lily is overwhelmed with relief. After so much fear and uncertainty about Malcolm's condition, this discovery feels like a small miracle. For Lily, it is hard not to feel grateful toward Cain, especially since he was the one who suggested getting tested in the first place. But even with this emotional relief, not everything is calm. In another part of Genoa City, tensions are rising quickly inside Devon's world. Abby Winters reaches her breaking point with Devon this week. Devon has been struggling emotionally, especially after learning about Mariah Copeland's plea deal situation. Instead of moving forward, he keeps getting stuck in frustration and anger. His obsession with the situation starts affecting everyone around him. Abby finally steps in and makes it very clear Devon needs to control himself. She warns him that his anger is getting out of hand and that he must stop letting it consume him. Her message is direct, firm, and serious. This is not just relationship advice anymore, it's a wake-up call. Devon, however, is not ready to let go of his frustration. He is deeply disturbed by how things are unfolding, and he feels like justice is not being served. But Abby stands her ground, making it clear that continuing down this path will only cause more damage. While emotional conflicts are rising in Genoa City, things take a far more dangerous turn in Las Vegas. Nick Newman and Adam Newman find themselves in a terrifying situation that escalates faster than anyone could expect. Nick arrives at a gas station location with Adam, but what starts as a mission quickly turns into a life-or-death emergency. Nick suddenly collapses and loses consciousness. The situation becomes critical within seconds. Adam is forced into panic mode, trying to understand what just happened and how to save his brother before it's too late. At the same time, a mysterious figure enters the scene, Sienna Bacall. Sienna becomes a key player in this unfolding crisis. She arrives with unexpected knowledge and possibly something that could save Nick's life. She may have access to Narcan, a treatment that can reverse the effects of an overdose. Her timing is crucial, and without her involvement, things could take a much darker turn. But Sienna is not just a simple helper in this situation. Her connection to everything happening in Las Vegas is still unclear, and questions about her loyalty begin to rise immediately. How does she know where to go? Why does she have the right information at the right time? And what is her real connection to Matt Clark? Meanwhile, Sharon Newman and Noah Newman are finally freed from the immediate danger they were facing. However, freedom does not bring peace. Instead, Sharon is left with growing suspicion. Even though Sienna plays a role in helping, Sharon cannot fully trust her. There is something about the situation that doesn't feel right. In Sharon's mind, Sienna might not be as innocent as she appears. There is still a strong possibility that she could be connected to Matt Clark's dangerous plans. Matt Clark himself is still in the background, watching and planning. Even though he is not fully active in this moment, it is clear that his influence is far from over. The threat he represents is still very real, and the Newmans are not safe yet. As this chaotic situation unfolds in Las Vegas, one thing becomes clear: this is only the beginning. The danger is not over. In fact, it may only be getting worse. Nick's condition, Adam's panic, Sienna's mysterious involvement, and Sharon's doubts are all pieces of a much larger puzzle that has not yet been fully revealed. And just when it feels like things might settle down, the storm only seems to grow stronger. The situation in Genoa City continues to intensify as personal conflicts turn into full-scale power battles. This week, emotions are running high, and every decision seems to carry serious consequences. After the chaos surrounding Nick's condition in Las Vegas, attention quickly shifts back to the ongoing war between Victor Newman and Phyllis Summers. Victor is not letting go of his demands, and he is applying maximum pressure to control the situation on his terms. Victor's approach is firm and unrelenting. He makes it clear that Phyllis is backed into a corner, and there is very little room left for negotiation. Every conversation between them feels like a test of control, and Victor is determined to stay one step ahead at all times. His focus is not just business, it is dominance, influence, and ensuring that no one crosses him without consequences. Phyllis, however, is not someone who gives up easily. Even under pressure, she continues to look for ways to protect herself. But this time, the stakes are much higher. The legal situation surrounding her is becoming more serious, and she can feel the walls closing in. Meanwhile, Christine Blair steps directly into the conflict. She is no longer observing from the sidelines. Instead, she confronts Phyllis face to face, making it clear that the case against her is moving forward. Christine points to new evidence that strengthens the prosecution's position, and her tone leaves no doubt this is not something Phyllis can simply escape. The confrontation between Christine and Phyllis becomes intense and deeply personal. Old rivalries resurface, and the tension between them reaches another level. Phyllis pushes back, refusing to accept defeat, but Christine remains firm and professional, fully committed to seeing the case through. At the same time, Victoria Newman begins working behind the scenes to strengthen the Newman family's position. She is not directly involved in the courtroom battle, but she is very active strategically. Victoria understands the bigger picture. This is not just about Phyllis, it's about power, reputation, and control within Genoa City. Her plan is calculated. She supports actions that will gradually weaken Phyllis's standing and make it harder for her to recover. Victoria is patient, but her goal is clear: ensure that Phyllis loses her grip on power completely. Elsewhere in Genoa City, tension continues to rise in unexpected ways, as alliances shift and hidden agendas begin to surface. Every character seems to be playing their own game, but the outcomes are starting to overlap dangerously. What makes this week even more intense is the fact that no one is truly safe. Every move could trigger a larger consequence, and every conversation might be part of a bigger strategy that has not yet been revealed. Victor's pressure, Christine's legal push, and Victoria's quiet strategy all combine into one powerful storm that is slowly tightening around Phyllis Summers. And as the week continues, it becomes clearer that this is not just a temporary conflict, it is a full-scale battle for control, influence, and survival in Genoa City. The week continues with even more manipulation, emotional tension, and risky decisions as Genoa City becomes a battlefield of trust and betrayal. Nothing is simple anymore, and every move feels like it could backfire at any moment. One of the biggest storylines unfolding this week involves Jack Abbott and Nikki Newman. Both of them are stepping into a dangerous psychological game, trying to manipulate the people closest to them for a bigger purpose. Jack makes a bold move involving Diane Jenkins Abbott. Instead of confronting issues directly, he decides to push Diane into believing that her actions are actually driving him closer to Nikki. It's a calculated emotional strategy. Jack is intentionally creating confusion and jealousy to trigger reactions. At the same time, Nikki is playing her own version of the same game. She is not sitting back quietly. Instead, she is carefully positioning herself in Victor's world, trying to influence his emotions and reactions. Her goal is to create tension strong enough to shift how Victor views both her and the people around him. Together, Jack and Nikki are working on a risky emotional experiment, one that depends entirely on jealousy, misunderstanding, and psychological pressure. But the problem is simple: games like this rarely stay under control for long. Meanwhile, back in Genoa City, Abby Winters is dealing with a completely different kind of chaos. Abby becomes increasingly frustrated with Devon. His emotional instability is growing, and his anger over the Mariah Copeland situation continues to intensify. Instead of letting things go, Devon keeps replaying the issue in his mind, and it is clearly affecting his judgment. Abby finally reaches a point where she can no longer stay silent. She directly warns Devon that his behavior is becoming destructive. She tells him that his obsession is not helping anyone and is only making things worse for himself and everyone around him. Her message is serious and grounded. This is no longer just relationship advice. It is a clear boundary. Abby wants Devon to stop letting anger control his decisions before it causes irreversible damage. But Devon is not in a calm state. He is deeply frustrated and emotionally overwhelmed. He feels like justice has been ignored, and that frustration is turning into something more dangerous: fixation. The more Abby tries to pull him back, the more Devon seems to push forward into his emotions. This creates tension between them, as Abby struggles to protect their relationship while also trying to prevent Devon from spiraling further. At the same time, the ripple effects from the Las Vegas crisis are still being felt. The Newman family has not fully recovered from the shock involving Nick's condition, and the emotional impact continues to influence everyone's decisions. Trust is becoming harder to maintain. Suspicion is growing. And every character seems to be operating with a different agenda. Jack and Nikki's manipulation plan, Abby's struggle with Devon, and the lingering uncertainty from Las Vegas all come together to create a week filled with emotional instability and unpredictable outcomes. And as these stories continue to unfold, one thing becomes very clear: no one in Genoa City is making safe choices anymore. Everyone is playing a game, but not everyone realizes how dangerous it has become. As the week moves forward, the tone in Genoa City shifts again, this time toward romance, manipulation, and psychological tension. While some relationships grow stronger, others are quietly being set up for emotional chaos. One of the most noticeable changes this week is happening between Billy Abbott and Sally Spectra. Their relationship takes a much more intimate and emotional turn. Billy is stepping up in a big way, showing affection more openly and confidently than before. Sally finds herself caught off guard by the intensity of Billy's attention. He is not holding back anymore, his actions are bold, direct, and full of emotional energy. He is actively trying to make her feel valued, wanted, and secure in their relationship. For Sally, this creates a complicated emotional space. On one hand, she is drawn to Billy's charm and sincerity. On the other hand, she is still aware that life in Genoa City rarely stays simple for long. But for now, she is swept into the moment, allowing herself to enjoy the attention and warmth Billy is giving her. However, while romance builds in one corner of the story, something far more unpredictable is happening elsewhere. Patty Williams re-enters the picture with a very different energy. This time, her focus lands on Kyle Abbott. Patty is known for her unpredictable behavior and psychological manipulation, and this week she makes it clear that she is not just passing through, she has a target. Her interaction with Kyle is not straightforward. Instead of direct confrontation, Patty uses subtle provocation and mental games. She knows how to get under people's skin, and she begins pushing Kyle's emotional buttons in ways that feel unsettling and confusing. Kyle quickly realizes that something is off. Patty's presence brings an uncomfortable energy, and her words carry hidden meaning. She is not just talking, she is probing, testing, and provoking reactions. The situation becomes more tense as Kyle tries to maintain control of the conversation. But Patty continues to push, making it clear that she enjoys disrupting emotional balance. Her goal seems to be psychological rather than physical. She wants a reaction, and she is willing to take her time to get it. This creates a growing sense of unease around Kyle. Even after she leaves, the impact of Patty's words lingers. He is left questioning motives, intentions, and whether this interaction was truly random or part of something bigger. Meanwhile, Billy and Sally's romantic progress continues to develop in contrast to this chaos. Their bond feels like a moment of calm in an otherwise unstable environment. But in Genoa City, calm moments rarely last long. As multiple storylines collide: romance, manipulation, emotional breakdowns, and hidden agendas, the week builds towards something bigger and more unpredictable. Every character seems to be moving closer to a turning point, whether they realize it or not. And with Patty stirring trouble and relationships intensifying, the emotional pressure across Genoa City is rising fast. As the week of April 27th to May 1st reaches its final stretch, everything in the young and the restless begins to converge into one unstable, emotional storm. What started as separate conflicts in Genoa City and Las Vegas now feels deeply connected, and the consequences are starting to surface. The aftermath of the Las Vegas crisis continues to hit the Newman family hard. Nick Newman's collapse and the dangerous situation surrounding him leaves lasting emotional damage. Even though he survives the immediate threat, nothing feels fully resolved. Questions remain about what truly caused the incident, who was responsible, and whether this was just a single attack or part of something much bigger. Victor Newman does not waste time reacting. Once Nick is stable enough, Victor immediately confronts him. But this is not a gentle family moment. Victor is firm, intense, and demanding answers. He pushes Nick to admit what he has been hiding, especially when it comes to his personal struggles. There is a clear sense that Victor believes something deeper is going on beneath the surface, and he refuses to ignore it. Nick, however, is emotionally exhausted. After everything he has been through, he is not ready to fully open up. This creates tension between father and son, adding another layer of pressure to an already fragile situation. Meanwhile, the risky emotional manipulation plan between Jack Abbott and Nikki Newman reaches a dangerous stage. What started as a strategy built on jealousy and psychological pressure begins to show cracks. Their attempt to influence Victor and Diane Jenkins Abbott is no longer fully under control. Jack's plan to make Diane believe he is emotionally drifting toward Nikki starts creating unintended consequences. Diane begins to sense something is off, but instead of reacting immediately, she becomes more observant and cautious. That makes the situation even more dangerous, because now the manipulation is no longer hidden, it is being watched. At the same time, Nikki's own actions toward Victor create tension of their own. Victor is not easily manipulated, and while he reacts emotionally at times, he is also highly suspicious. The balance between control and chaos starts to shift, and it becomes unclear who is actually influencing whom anymore. Elsewhere, Billy Abbott and Sally Spectra continue their romantic storyline, but even this is not untouched by Genoa City's instability. Their connection feels strong, but external pressure is always present. Billy's emotional intensity and Sally's cautious optimism create a dynamic that feels passionate but also fragile. In another corner of the city, Patty Williams continues her psychological targeting of Kyle Abbott. What seemed like a single encounter now feels more intentional. Patty's behavior suggests she is not done yet, and Kyle is left uneasy, questioning whether this was just a random interaction or the beginning of something more calculated. The biggest theme of this week becomes clear in the final moments: nothing is as stable as it appears. Relationships are being tested, trust is breaking down, and every character seems to be walking closer to a line they cannot easily come back from. Las Vegas may have triggered the chaos, but Genoa City is where the real fallout begins. And as the week closes, one question remains hanging in the air: how long before everything completely explodes again? In The Young and the Restless, tensions are rising once again between two of Genoa City's most powerful rivals, Victor Newman and Jack Abbott. And this time, the situation is heading toward a major emotional explosion that could change everything for both families. Victor Newman and Jack Abbott are both facing serious challenges in their personal lives, especially when it comes to their marriages. Victor's relationship with Nikki Newman and Jack's marriage to Diane Jenkins Abbott are both under heavy strain, and things are getting worse instead of better. Right now, Jack and Diane are barely speaking to each other. Their relationship has reached a breaking point after a painful misunderstanding involving Patty Williams. Diane believes Jack betrayed her trust after a situation that looked compromising, even though the truth behind it is far more complicated and connected to manipulation and outside interference. Jack is trying to explain himself and fix the damage, but Diane is deeply hurt and overwhelmed by emotions. At this stage, she is struggling to separate truth from appearance, and that is making forgiveness extremely difficult. On the other side, Victor is also dealing with conflict in his marriage to Nikki. Nikki is shocked and disappointed by Victor's recent actions involving Jack, and this has created a serious emotional distance between them. For Nikki, it feels like Victor crossed a line that cannot be easily ignored. Victor, however, feels misunderstood and believes he is being unfairly judged. This difference in perspective is pushing both of them further apart. As these personal tensions grow, the atmosphere in Genoa City becomes more unstable. Old rivalries between Victor and Jack are starting to resurface, and with trust breaking down in both marriages, the situation is becoming even more unpredictable. At this point, it feels like everything is moving toward a larger confrontation, one that could impact not just Victor and Jack, but everyone connected to them. And as pressure builds, one thing becomes clear: this is only the beginning of a much bigger storm. In The Young and the Restless, the tension between Victor Newman and Jack Abbott continues to spread into every corner of their personal lives, especially their marriages. What started as conflict is now turning into emotional damage that neither side can easily control. Victor Newman and Nikki Newman are currently on completely different pages. Nikki is deeply shaken by Victor's recent actions involving Jack Abbott. From her point of view, Victor went too far this time.